Alrighty, it's day to paint. Yeah, I'm kind of excited actually. Ernie has allowed us to put gray on it instead of a metallic gray that you usually see. The reason being I want to do that, I just think it'll be new and fresh, and the color will show the shape just a little bit better, and the metallic will not be there to dirty it up at all. Right now, you can see on the front end there's a little different color gray there. When I put the filler on the pinholes, when I sanded the primer off, it still had a little bit of body fill showing. So I took a one-step can of primer, it's called One Step. It's a lacquer primer, but I did not prime it for product. I sprayed it for coverage. So I've covered the body fill where the metal's showing. And I've done that in a few places where I sand the body fill off for the pinholes. I got the spat on this side, spat on that side. One of them turned red, remember? I'm not going to paint the hood today because the hood's too big to get in there and paint the front of the car. And that's okay. We'll paint this today and we'll paint the hood tomorrow, I guess. But right now, as you see this car, it's different colors. We got gray, we got a light gray, a metallic gray, and another different color gray. And what I'm going to do before I paint this car, I'm going to make it one color. I've done paint jobs where you could years ago paint a car and not worry about that somewhat, but nowadays it seems like it's a little different. I am going to spray the whole car black, and then I am going to paint it. And the reason being is sometimes you can see through the paint. You can see through the paint, yes you can see through it, and it'll affect the paint job that we have or what we're doing. So to cut that down, just like a guide coat, to cut that down, we're going to come in and spray the car black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to base it black. So I'm going to come in here, I got some black base out there. I'm going to put it in the gun, I'm going to give it probably one coat of base. I might hit all the places first, and then give it a coat of black base, and then I will let it dry for 10 or 15, and then we will go on to painting. And we have urethane once again. We bought 3 liters of it, 3 quarts. We think that's going to paint the car. We're going to paint the hood yet. It is reasonably priced paint. That's what we bought. I think it was $79 or $80 a quart. So that's the paint that we bought. The hardener has to go with it. We're going to use the clear hardener. I used the clear hardener in Doug's car, exact same thing. Me and Jolene have washed this car down many times with Windex, many times, try to make it as clean as possible. It's looking really good. I can't wait to get the gray on it to really see what it looks like. So I guess here we go. I'm going to try to paint this thing right before your very eyes and put a shine on, hopefully. See what happens. See what happens. I don't know if I want, I'm going to put that back in there, I'm sorry. Put that back in there just in case I need it. You know, down the side of the car. Alrighty. The hood is right here. I've done the exact same thing with the hood. As I've sanded it down, we have a little red spot back there. I remember I was saying before, I wanted to cover it. So what I did is I took the One Step. Where that is that? Just the One Step. It's in a can anyways, and it's lacquer primer. And I just sprayed it over top of that to get rid of the red color. That's all I did. So we'll paint the hood another time. That'll be tomorrow, no doubt. But right now, I've got the black, I've got the base in the mixer. And this is leftover paint from other jobs. Leftover paint from other jobs. It's raining here. What I'm thinking is, as I'm dancing around here, look like I already had my nervous pee before we started, didn't I, baby? I had to go and have my nervous pee. So we got some black base in there. I'm just wondering if I should mix it all up. I probably should just mix it all up. So what I have is I have a quart, probably a quart in there. It's It's all base. Don't know if I want to use it all, but what I am going to do is I'm going to mix it, and then I can always change my mind anytime I want to. I'm not changing my mind, sorry. I'm losing my mind. How's that? I'm going to mix it right in the can, and then I'll just say mixed on top of the can. That's what I'll do. And just say mixed. Now, what I'm going to have to do is, before I get started, this is 1-to-1, so whatever I have for base, I have to do for, so I've got, I'll go on this one right here. It's got up to 2, so I'd have to go to almost 4, and that'll be half and half, 1-to-1. See, because you're on to 2, 1-to-1, and make it 4, or a little below 4 there. So that's what I'm going to do. Did you understand that, did you? I dumped it in the can. I got, look right there, it says on this side right here, 1. See, 1 every time. Okay?
Doesn't that say 2-to-1 there and 1-to-1 there?
Oh, well, it does, but I'm mixing this up. I'm not worried about what the stick says.
Okay.
So I'm looking on the stick. So on the stick, I'm just below the 2, and it's, you know, you can tell it's all the same. So I'm on if I'm going to mix this 50-50, I would go up just below the 4, and that would mix it. So that's what I'm going to do there. Baby just keeps me straight sometimes, and it's probably because she wants to know exactly what's going on, and it's a smart thing to do to know exactly what's going on. Like, she has to write everything down, say everything that I'm doing, and most times she's right on the mark. So you really have to realize if she's writing it down and saying it all the time, she's going to end up being a car builder herself, and you know, in her brain. Like, to be honest with you, you'll know all the pieces. It's the exact same thing when I talk life. Sometimes I'm generally talking to myself, and I have to repeat it because every day is a repeat, and every day that mistake can come. And if you're not aware of some of your mistakes at all times, how would you ever become better at not making them mistakes? You have to try to be aware of them all the time. That's generally what I do. That's why I talk a lot of life, because I'm trying to be, so exactly what I said. Trying to be the best person I can be. And if I don't talk it, I probably won't remember myself. It's like McNeil said, it's best to be consistent, you know. It's best to be consistent, so if I keep trying, I'll get there. What a baby! I'll get there. I gotta filter this and get the cart before the horse. I'm gonna bring out a couple filters because I'll end up running back in there. And it's gonna be nice to give Bernie's car back. Then we'll be on to the air station. There's Fina, Bina. Love you. She's a good dog. You're a good dog. I'm going to paint. This is base. This is not urethane paint. This is base. And yes, I am dumping it on the vise. Not by choice, just because it happens sometimes. This is base. I was going to say it's base. I'm going to base the car black, and it'll be dry within 10-15 minutes. And then we'll go right on with the gray. But I want to get the car one color. And it would be a mistake of me to not do that. It would be a mistake. It might cover, yes it might, but it's still, it's a protection that I should take. I'm gonna pull this shirt off. I'm gonna get my mask. My mask over there. Got a new hat on today. Sporting the red and the blue. Who knew? This is my mask. Joanne's got her mask on. We're going to go in and do the deal, people. We've washed it down quite a few times, Windex. We washed it down, dried it, same time. Don't just wash it down. You got to clean it too as you're washing it. So we washed it, dried it a few times. Everything's wet down in there. We're going to go in and grab the hose and put a coat of black base on it.
You need the air on and the fan.
I can only turn the fan on until I get in there. I'm hoping, we have an air problem right at the present moment. I haven't fixed it yet. I'm hoping. Not bad, as long as it stays like that. I got an air valve in there that's seeping, and once in a while it'll seep really bad, and that's not quite what I want to paint. Oh, burn it, not done. Burn it. Burn it. I hope we get a good job for him, you know, that's what I'm hoping. Hope we get a good job for him. Hope fan works. Running on borrowed time, people. We're running on borrowed time. That's how it happens right there. That's how it happens. I'm still going to give the car a whole coat of black, but I was going to shoot them gray places first because they're hard to cover. So this is what I'm doing. I put a little black base on first. I'll do all the white spots first, and then I'll coat the car. I think that'd be my best bet. And this base is so thin that I find it does not affect, like when you start piling it on, yes, it gets textured. But where I'm spraying it full pressure like that, and it's that thin, the texture really stays fine, so I'm not worried about the texture on the paint job, generally. Going good so far. I get one coat on it. And it'll be good. This is black base. No hardener in it, no nothing, just reducer. Just reducer. It's just to change the color. I'm using it for a value shade for that paint. And you can ask when you go and buy this paint, if you ask, there's a value shade, what color it should be before you spray it. And just if you don't know, your car should be all one color when you spray it. I'm going to let it dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little thinner in the gun. She always got a pair of glasses on. She looks very cute. I'm going to put a little thinner in the gun. I'm going to let the thinner run through the gun here for a minute, swish it around. I'm going to let that base cure. I'm going to mix some paint. We'll put some paint on it. So I did not do that to Doug's car, and I'll say the reason why I did that to Doug, it didn't, well, it was all gray, but it had, black was going onto it. There's not much black, don't cover. I really feel sometimes that black is the color that probably you should always start with. I know it seems like a dark color, but it sure does make a difference in the end. But we changed, we did that. The reason being was we did not want to have different shades of gray going on the paint job. That's basically it. And that was trying to save us from getting that. It's just like applying a guide coat, I guess. We wanted to save ourselves from having any issues in the end. We'll have to do the exact same process to the hood. We'll have to do the black on that. Actually, it'll be nice if we get to do the black on that, because we'll get to spray the black on the bottom where we scraped it with the cleaner there, take off the burrs. We'll be able to spray that black underneath there, and then we'll spray the top black, and then we can come in with the paint to make it gray. I'm excited about this color. I'm excited about this color. I'm excited. Something slip on. So we'll do the exact same process, but what I'm going to do is, it's like Doug's car. If it's 2 coats and it looks really nice, I'll leave it. If it needs 3, I'll put it on. Doug's needed 3 in the end. And also, we did not buy an abundance of paint. I think Doug's coming up to visit us, right? I think Doug's coming to visit us, actually. We got rain going on outside, which is nice. Keeps the dirt down, keeps everything down. But the wind is up. So we're going to do this thing here again on this one. I'm not going to have any viruses. It doesn't have 412. Which one was right? 412 is what I need. So if you went to 7, it means I'd have to go 7 for the one on the hardware. So 7 paint. Well, there's the paint right there, and then to get to 7, I got 1 hardware. And it has, to get to that, I give it to the 7 with the reducer, but I need 2, so I have to go up to here. And I might even give it a splash more. Maybe. Maybe. And the reason being is, the paint being thin like that helps also with how the texture is. Don't need that stick. I learned this from Gene. Winfield, that is. Make sure you mark your cans. I'm the worst one for not marking something because I'm trying to go so quick. I'm the worst one, but it helps when you... I write it so hard that I want myself to know next. That means that the reducer's in it. When I come back to it, it'll still be there. It'll still be there. Reducer, got the hardware. Also on the hardware part, hope we got enough. Anyways, the hardware, I'm using the clear coat hardware. there, I might also use it. My glasses. So yeah, so right now it is just flashing off. So the base will be flashed off and it should be a blue black color. We're going to go and put the gray on. Only when inside the doors, you take the rubbers off. Underneath the hood's taped off. Everything should be okay. On the inside, you really couldn't tell. Like when we put the gray on, it should be almost the same tone that you will not realize from the inside of the doors. That's what we're hoping. It was really hard to tell. There wasn't much paint on the inside of the doors anyways that you could tell. So we're hoping that we put this down there. I think the gray is quite dashing. Dodge has done it lately, and a few others I'm thinking have done it. Pulled this gray color off, and I think it looks really good, like on the newer cars. Something different. Yeah. I want to go to that 7 on that. There we go. Cover back on. Hurting it. Jeez, I hope we get my hurt. Splash more. Don't mind it. Woo-hoo. Really nice. Love it. I think it's really going to show the car a lot nicer. And that's just like a belly button. An opinion. Like I got one, you got one. I think it's going to be fine though. Filters, where to put them bad boys. Keep her there. We're going to take a walk in first. Actually, I'll probably just take my gun because I know what's going to happen. We're going to end up spraying paint. Get a little bit of, won't touch the car now, but yeah, I'm sweating a little bit. I'm going to put a piece of gray paint on her. Piece of gray paint. Woo-hoo! Right. Do it again. Get a coat of paint on it. It's like that. I sprayed this kind of paint, Nason's. I think it's the most practical paint that you can buy. I'm not sure. If there's a more practical one out there, I'd probably try it. But it's the most practical paint that I've ever used. And I have had no issues with it as long as I do the procedures right. You know what I'm trying to say? As long as I do the procedures right, and that means by putting a value shade on it and you know, using certain primers and whatever, I've not had a problem with it. So I really dig their paint because it's practical. It's for the everyday guy. And if you haven't got it yet, I am. I'm the everyday guy. And yeah, that's just who I am. Just the everyday guy trying to make the most out of my buck. And yeah. Here we go again, put some more paint on. That's one coat on Bernie's car. I really like the gray. You like the gray?
Oh, yeah.
Loving it. Really, to me, it really brings it awake. It wasn't awake before. And the only reason it wasn't awake, I think someone had sanded it and tried to repair some things, and it just didn't pan out for them. Now, there was a guy sent in that I inspired him to paint. First time he painted his truck cab, and he got a cap, and he got a few boo-boos. I feel for you. I've been there. You just have to wait a while and try to buff them off. But other than that, try to put one wet coat on and let it dry. And always be on the move. Always be on the move. You can't spray standing still. Sometimes the color goes on so nice that you really want to paint it all at once, but you really have to be careful. Just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan and put it on 6 inches at a time. I want to go and take a look at it. Don't look quite dashing, isn't it? I'd say it's ready to paint. As long as I keep the process the same, as long as I go to the roof, go to the other side, of the roof, do the cowl, at the talking over my own head now, I'm just trying to figure it out. I did the roof, cowl, then the front end, front fender, front there, and then I did those doors, and then those doors, and then the back. I think that's right. The reason I got the mask off a little bit is I like that smell. That's real good. Wait a minute. I like it. I like it. You can see when you come back here, it's still wet. Right? It's still wet. But if I do the order right, by the time I got there, it would be dry. So let's just quote for a bit. I'm going to give it a minute and then let it dry just a little bit on the back. It's wet there. I can wait a little bit longer. Wait a little bit longer, let that back dry. But if I kept the order, if I went in there and sprayed the back and then did change the order, that's possibly a way that you could mess up. Also, we're pulling cold air or pulling air. I had the heat turned up last night, trying to get the heat up in here. And it's half cold here today. Just take a little bit run to the door, see what's outside. There's not much, you know, just raining, dude. Looking good. I might be able to get away with 2 coats on this. And the only reason I say get away, and to me, there's no sense piling paint on if it's not necessary. There's no sense piling paint on if it's not necessary. The black did a good job too. See how it covered up nice? Now, as I paint that car black, it would be impossible for someone to say I can see through, wouldn't it? You know, sort of thing. Get off that car. Get off that car. We'll just mix a little, stir it up here a little bit. We might go back in. We probably will. Fill the paint gun back up. We'll go to the roof, cowl, front end. We'll keep it there. I hope Bernie likes the color. It is a little brighter, isn't it? I think once we get this coat on, I might take it down to another tone, but it is brighter than it was, and I like it. I really do. I really do. I paint one of my cars this color. Wouldn't you, baby? That's how much we like it. We paint one of our cars this color. All right, here we go. Go right back in. I only got a little bit of paint, so I'm going to go finish the front end and come out and mix them. The time it took me to spray that, the time it would make me get more paint, allow time for us to mix more paint in the back to dry. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the reason of the order, because of drying time. That's the reason of the order. I'm probably going to give it 3 coats. We've got the paint. I'm thinking that, well, we'll see what happens. It looks good now. It's hard to keep spraying when it looks the way it does, you know, to me. Especially now that I've got a half a sheen on it. When I look at it, it's hard to tell where I've already painted. That's basically where you have to get sometimes in your brain. You have to get it so you paint the same way every time. I painted the wrong fender in order. Or did I paint that in order? No. Anyways, I'm on to the doors. What doors did I paint first? Drivers? Drivers doors first? No. Passengers doors first. Is that right? Passenger doors first. I think. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. We'll go and feel it anyways, just to make sure, right? We won't hold you to it, baby. Let's go and put some more paint on. Things are going well. Things are going well. Until something goes wrong, right? I guess right now is the time where I let it set for a little bit. Are we over your time? No? Okay, well, we can decide to put another coat on anytime we want to, can we not? Do you want to film it, the next coat? Okay, so which I think I probably am, but I'm gonna let it dry so I can touch it again before I put another coat on. But I'm hoping that we have the exact same result that we have right now, because it looks fantastic. Hope you're happy, Bernie.